Hi, I'm Kai. 3 years ago, I thought I had everything figured out. A decent job as a software engineer, a nice apartment in Seattle, and a marriage to Melissa that made all my friends jealous. Well, at least that's what I thought until last Tuesday. Kai, honey, my mom's coming over for dinner tonight, Melissa said, not looking up from her phone as I walked through the door. Again? Didn't Patricia just visit last week? I set my laptop bag down, noticing how Melissa tensed at my tone. She finally looked up, tucking her dark hair behind her ear. She's my mother. Why do you always have to make it sound like such a burden? I don't make it sound like a burden. I just find it weird how often she's been coming over lately, and those hushed conversations you two have when you think I'm not listening. Don't be paranoid, she snapped, then immediately softened. Sorry, I'm just stressed about work. Patricia's bringing Derek again. You remember him? Your mom's financial advisor? The guy she keeps accidentally inviting whenever we have dinner? I made air quotes. Yeah, I remember. What I don't understand is why he's always around. Melissa shrugged. Mom likes him. Says he reminds her of Dad when he was younger. That's weird. I frowned. And you don't find it strange how she keeps pushing you two together? She is not pushing us together, Melissa laughed, but it sounded forced. You're imagining things. That night, Patricia arrived with Derek in tow. Again. Kai, looking thin as ever. Don't you feed him, Melissa? Patricia's voice boomed through our apartment as she handed me a bottle of wine I knew I wouldn't like. Nice to see you too, Patricia, I said, forcing a smile. Derek extended his hand. Good to see you again, man. Third time this month, I replied, shaking his hand a little too firmly. Throughout dinner, I watched, Patricia directing every conversation toward Derek's accomplishments, Melissa laughing too loudly at his jokes, their eyes meeting a beat too long. So Kai, still at that startup. What was it, coding websites? Patricia asked between bites. Software engineering for a cybersecurity firm, I corrected for the dozenth time. Derek just got promoted. He's handling all my investments now and Melissa's too. Such a bright future ahead. Patricia beamed. Melissa's investments? I turned to my wife. You never mentioned that. Melissa waved dismissively. Just some money Mom gave me, nothing important. Important enough to hide it from me, I muttered. Later that week, I met my best friend Marcus for drinks. I'm telling you, something's off, I said, nursing my beer. Patricia's always bringing this Derek guy around, and Melissa's been acting strange, distant, always on her phone. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Look, man, there's something you should know. Jenny saw them. Saw who? Melissa and Derek, at the Marriott downtown last Friday, when you were at that conference in Portland. My stomach dropped. That doesn't mean anything. Could have been a meeting about her investments. Marcus looked me dead in the eyes. In the hotel bar at 11 p.m., holding hands, Jenny said they were pretty cozy. No way, I shook my head. Melissa wouldn't. Check her phone, Marcus suggested quietly. I hate saying it, but if you want the truth. That night, while Melissa showered, I did something I'd never done before. I checked her phone. The text between her and Derek confirmed everything. And worse, much worse. I'm late, one message from Melissa read. The test was positive. Derek's response, are you sure it's mine? Who else would it be? Kai and I haven't been intimate in months. I was still holding her phone when Melissa walked in wrapped in a towel. Kai, what are you doing with my phone? I looked up feeling hollow. When were you going to tell me? Tell you what? Melissa's voice wavered, but her eyes darted to the phone in my hand. That you're pregnant, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. With Derek's baby. She grabbed for the towel slipping from her body. You went through my phone? How dare you invade my privacy like that? Your privacy? I laughed bitterly. That's what you're worried about? Not the fact that you've been sleeping with a man your mother practically gift-wrapped for you? It's not like that, she whispered, tears forming. It just happened. Things like this don't just happen, Melissa. You made choices, multiple choices, over and over again. I called Marcus immediately after leaving the apartment. She admitted it, I said when he picked up. She's pregnant with his kid. Jesus, man, I'm so sorry. Where are you now? Driving around, I can't be in that apartment with her. Come over. You shouldn't be alone. At Marcus's place, we talked until sunrise. He'd ordered pizza that sat mostly untouched on his coffee table. What happens now? Marcus asked, handing me another beer. Divorce, obviously, I replied. But first, I need to understand everything. How long? How deep this goes? If her mother really orchestrated the whole thing. The next morning, I met with Vanessa, an attorney Marcus recommended. So your wife is pregnant with another man's child and you believe her mother facilitated the affair? Vanessa clarified, typing notes. Yes, Patricia's been bringing Derek around for months, always talking him up, creating opportunities for them to be together. And you're certain the child isn't yours? We haven't been intimate in months. Her words, not mine, from the texts. Vanessa nodded. You'll need evidence beyond text messages you accessed without permission. Those might not be admissible. What kind of evidence? Anything showing the timeline, their relationship, the mother's involvement, witness statements, photos, emails, and I'd recommend confronting your mother-in-law. That afternoon, I drove to Patricia's condo, fury building with each mile. Kai? This is unexpected, Patricia said, opening her door with obvious displeasure. We need to talk about Melissa and Derek, I said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. Patricia's face hardened. I don't know what you're talking about. Cut the act, Patricia. Melissa's pregnant with Derek's baby. Your perfect little plan worked. She crossed her arms. My daughter deserves someone who can provide for her, someone with ambition, a future. And I don't have those things? Let's be honest, Kai. You've peaked. Derek is still climbing. I laughed incredulously. So you engineered this whole affair? Setting them up? Encouraging them? I simply introduced them. What happened after was their choice. A choice you manipulated. You pushed them together at every opportunity. Patricia shrugged, unapologetic. Melissa could have said no. Did you know she's asking me to raise the baby as my own? To pretend it's mine? This made Patricia pause. She what? That's right. Your perfect plan has a flaw. Derek doesn't want to be a father. He's already backing out. Patricia's face paled. He told me he loved her. Men say a lot of things, Patricia. I thought you'd know that by now. As I left, Patricia called after me. You won't give her a divorce. She needs you. I turned back, smiling coldly. Watch me. The following evening, Melissa was waiting when I returned to pack more of my things. Kai, please, she started, eyes red and puffy. We need to talk about this. About what exactly? Your affair, the pregnancy, or how you want me to raise another man's child? It was a mistake, she pleaded, reaching for my arm. I stepped back. Derek and it didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything? I repeated. You're carrying his child, Melissa. I know, and I'm so sorry, but we can work through this. Lots of couples survive affairs. I laughed bitterly. This isn't just an affair. This is a calculated betrayal. You, your mother, Derek, you all played me for a fool. My mother had nothing to do with this. Really? Because she admitted everything when I confronted her. How she deliberately brought Derek around, encouraged you two to get close. Melissa's face crumpled. She shouldn't have done that, but the choice was still mine. I made a terrible mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill, Melissa. This was a series of deliberate choices. Every time you texted him, met him, slept with him, those were all choices. What about our 3 years together, she cried. Don't they count for anything? They did, until you threw them away for Derek. Where is he now, by the way? Shouldn't he be here supporting the mother of his child? Melissa looked away. He's processing. Processing? I scoffed. You mean running for the hills? He doesn't want this baby, does he? He's just scared, she whispered. And I'm supposed to step in, clean up this mess, raise his child? You'd be a wonderful father, Kai. You always said you wanted kids. Our kids, Melissa, not some byproduct of your affair. Please, she begged, grabbing my hands. I love you. We can get past this. The baby doesn't have to know. No one has to know. I pulled away. I would know. Every day for the rest of my life, I would know. And I'd resent you both for it. What do you want from me? She sobbed. Nothing. I want nothing from you except a divorce. I won't sign, she said suddenly, eyes flashing. I'll fight you on every single term. You'll spend years in court and thousands in legal fees. Is that a threat? It's reality. You think Patricia won't hire the best divorce attorneys in Seattle? We'll drag your name through the mud, claim emotional abuse, neglect. By the time we're done, you'll wish you just played along. I pulled out my phone, showing her the screen. You might want to reconsider that approach. Melissa's eyes widened as she realized I'd been recording our entire conversation. You can't use that. It's illegal to record someone without consent. Washington is a two-party consent state, you're right, but this isn't for court. It's for Derek, his family, your friends, your employer. Everyone will know exactly what kind of person you are. Her face contorted with rage as she lunged for my phone. Give me that! I stepped back, but not before her nails raked across my cheek, drawing blood. Assault too, I said calmly, touching my bleeding face. You're really building a strong case for yourself. Get out, she screamed. Get out of my apartment. Our apartment, I corrected. And don't worry, I'm going, but I'll be back with Vanessa, my attorney. The divorce proceedings began the following week. Vanessa was ruthlessly efficient, especially after I showed her the scratch marks on my face. We filed for an expedited divorce citing adultery and domestic violence, Vanessa explained as we sat in her office. The recording won't be admissible in court, but the photographs of your injuries certainly are. What about the apartment, our assets? Washington is a community property state, so typically everything would be split equally. However, given the circumstances and the evidence of her affair and assault, we have grounds to request a more favorable division. Later that day, Marcus accompanied me to collect more of my belongings. You holding up okay? He asked as we packed my books into boxes. Better than expected, I admitted. There's something clarifying about betrayal this complete. No room for doubts or second guessing. Have you heard from Derek? I nodded. After I sent him the divorce filing naming him as co-respondent. Turns out he didn't know I was aware of the pregnancy. Melissa told him I'd agreed to raise the baby as my own. Seriously? That's messed up. Vanessa says it works in our favor, shows a pattern of deception. 3 weeks later, I received a text from Melissa asking to meet at a coffee shop. Against Vanessa's advice, I agreed. She was already there when I arrived, looking smaller somehow, defeated. The slight curve of her pregnancy was just becoming visible. Thank you for coming, she said as I sat down across from her. What do you want, Melissa? To apologize properly. What I did was unforgivable. I see that now. Is Derek stepping up? Taking responsibility? She looked down at her cup. He's moved to Chicago, says he'll send money but doesn't want to be involved. And Patricia? We're not speaking. She's angry I mishandled everything. Her words. So you've lost your lover and your mother and now you're hoping I'll reconsider the divorce? Take pity on you? No, she said, surprising me. I know it's over. I've signed the papers Vanessa sent. I won't contest anything. I studied her face, searching for the manipulation. Why the change of heart? Because you deserve better than what I did to you. And because fighting will only make everything worse. She paused. I'll be moving back to Portland after the divorce is finalized. My company has an office there. And the baby? I'll raise it alone. It's my responsibility. For a moment, I felt a flicker of sympathy, quickly extinguished by the memory of her threats, her mother's scheming, the months of deception. I wish I could say I'm sorry to hear that, I replied honestly. But I'm not. You made this bed, Melissa. Now you and your child will lie in it. I understand, she whispered. I just hope someday you can forgive me. I won't, I said simply. Some betrayals go beyond forgiveness. This isn't a movie where everyone learns a valuable lesson and grows from the experience. You destroyed something irreplaceable. 2 months later, the divorce was finalized. Melissa had moved out of the apartment, which I sold immediately, unable to live with the memories it contained. So what now? Marcus asked as we shared a beer on his balcony, celebrating my official return to single life. Now I rebuild. New apartment, focusing on work, maybe travel a bit. Any regrets about how you handled things? I thought about it, watching the sunset over the Seattle skyline. Not a single one. I stood up for myself, didn't compromise my dignity, didn't let them manipulate me into accepting an unacceptable situation. And Melissa? Last I heard, she's in Portland, living with a roommate, preparing for single motherhood. Patricia's telling everyone the baby is mine and I abandoned them both. Marcus shook his head. Some people never take responsibility. That's their problem now, not mine. I raised my bottle. To freedom. And to friends who tell you the hard truths, even when they hurt. To truth, Marcus agreed, clinking his bottle against mine. Have you ever been asked to sacrifice your self-respect to fix someone else's mistakes? What would you have done in Kai's situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.